Training day 3 of Cactus League games as the Angels take on the Chicago Cubs here at Salone Park. I am Alex Curry, and the Angels are 1-1 after yesterday's win. You saw most of the everyday starters make their spring debut yesterday, and they are back in the lineup here today. Leading off for the Angels, once again at third base, Yunel Escobar. Batting second, Cole Calhoun in right field. Mike Trout back at center field, batting third, which will most likely be his spot in the lineup come season. CJ Cron batting cleanup and back at first base after DHing yesterday. And then Aldridge Simmons making his Angels debut, expected to play shortstop tomorrow, but DHing today to give his arm an extra day of rest. Nothing too big, just a little spring training stiffness, batting fifth. Batting sixth will be Cliff Pennington at shortstop. Carlos Perez behind the plate, batting seventh. Craig Gentry in left field, batting eighth. Sherman Johnson at second base, number 87, batting ninth. And Jared Weaver on the mound for the Angels. Lots of anticipation today to see where his velocity is at. And for manager Joe Madden, leading off, Dexter Fowler in center field. Batting second, Ben Zobrist at second base. Batting third, Jason Hayward. Batting cleanup, Javier Baez at first base. Batting fifth, former Angel Shane Victorino DHing. Batting sixth, Addison Russell at shortstop. Batting seventh, Tommy La Stella at third base. David Ross at catcher behind the plate, batting eighth. And Juan Perez in left field, batting ninth. And on the mound for the Cubs, Pierce Johnson. Let's head upstairs now to Terry Smith and Jose Mota.
Umpires are at home plate. We're having the exchange of the lineup cards. And as far as today's umpires calling balls and strikes will be Kerwin Danley. And along the bases we'll have Dana DeMuth, Adrian Johnson, and Dan Bellino. Angels here in Mesa today. As Jose mentioned, these two teams will get a chance to know each other even during the regular season in interleague play. In fact, opening day at the Big A, the Angels will face the Chicago Cubs. We'll also have an exhibition game just before the home opener in the regular season between the Angels and Cubs. It'll be a 2-game regular season series in Anaheim, and then 2 more games between these two teams on the north side of Chicago when they square off later on in the regular season at Wrigley Field. Jose, they draw well here. This is a ballpark just a couple years old right now, and you could tell hours and hours before game time when we got in, things were busy. They'll likely have a full house for baseball here today.
Oh, there's no doubt. This team averaged last year here in preseason close to 15,000 fans, and the following for the Cubs nationally has grown even more, going back to tradition and the many names and broadcasting names around here. Like we still see the Ron Santo jerseys around here. There's a per player for them. But Terry, that now that they are good again, they're young, they're confident, and there's no doubt, we talked about it, there's a target on them, there's a bullseye, and Joe Madden put it very clearly. Embrace it. It's fun to be a target.
Well, the Cubs are taking the field. They have the blue pinstripe uniforms on, tops and bottoms. The Angels go with the red tops today and the gray pants. And as the Cubs starting pitcher, young pitcher Pierce Johnson, begins to warm up with veteran catcher David Ross, let's focus in a little bit on the Angels starter Jared Weaver. We're excited to see Weave on the hill here today. And Jared Weaver, final year of his contract for the Angels, coming off his worst season in an Angel uniform. He's looking for a bounce-back season here in 2016.
You can go out there and question anything you want. This guy, after he came back from that injury, which is, the hip issue, there's some fatigue involved. Terry, numbers indicate to you that when this guy needed to step up for the Angels, he did. And, in September and October, he was Jared Weaver, a couple scopes here and there, but when the Angels needed to win a game and throw him on the mound later in the season, Mike Scioscia knew who he needed to go to, and Mike Scioscia mentioned that this morning. Now, at this point last year, we were talking about Weaver having added about 25 pounds to his frame. Now, as Weaver was telling me early in camp, it's about flexibility. He wants to take anything he can out of his body at this point, now that he understands more about his body is, and get after good starts, because one thing that really affected him last year, Terry, is that first inning, the numbers very lopsided in favor of the opposing team.
So we'll see Jared Weaver in all likelihood go 2 innings, around 30 pitches. At least that's the game plan going into today's ball game. The dimensions here at Sloan Park in Mesa, it is 360 down the lines, left field and right field, and out in center field it goes 410, and in the alleys it's 366 in left center. And it's deeper in right center. It's nearly 400 feet, 398, a deep gap out there in right center field. So we're just about set for baseball here on this Friday. Yunel Escobar will lead things off. He was in that spot for the Angels yesterday against the A's in his first Cactus League game. Yesterday, Escobar for the Angels went 1 for 2, and he will get ready to square off against the young pitcher, Pierce Johnson, who was in Double-A a year ago, former first-round pick of the Cubs back in 2012. Had some injury issues last year, and he also in the 2014 season, but they really like him. He's one of their best pitching prospects. First pitch grounded sharply on the left side. Diving stop by Russell. His throw will take Baez off the bag, and that's going to be a leadoff hit all the way for Yunel Escobar. It was sharply hit. The shortstop did a good job just to get to that one over there on the left side, Addison Russell, but throw is late and off the bag.
Outstanding play by the youngster. That's some of the things that Joe Madden likes about Addison Russell. He is fearless. He's got great ability. He could put it all together. But better yet for the Angels is Yunel Escobar that doesn't have to take that prototypical approach to leading off. He went out there hacking, got the base hit. He's aboard.
So here's Cole Calhoun. Calhoun had a good day yesterday, a 3-hit day against the A's. Mike Trout, who had 3 hits yesterday, waits on deck, and the pitch on Cole goes after the first one, bounces it through on the right side. That'll be a base hit. Escobar will stop at second. So back-to-back singles. Angels putting 2 on the board. Shades of yesterday, getting the table set for Mike Trout.
And one thing we know for Escobar, who was a little unsure of himself yesterday running the bases in the first inning, he knows exactly who was playing in right field, and right away you see the big presence out there. And Jason Hayward, you say, no, I am not going to test it right now. I'm trying to go first or third.
So here's Trout. Had a busy day yesterday in his first spring training game. 3 for 3, scored a run, drove in a run. Had a double in the ball game. Fine catch in center field early in the game yesterday as well. The first pitch to Mike, it's a breaking ball outside. It misses ball 1.
Terry, this morning, all Mike Scioscia wanted to talk about was not the offense or base running of Trout, is that play on the first batter that he saw in spring training, Billy Burns.
Here's the next. Well, the pitcher Johnson was about ready to deliver and stopped in midstream. Took a look out to second base. Trout back in the box defensively for the Cubs. Baez at first, Zobrist at second, La Stella at third with Russell at short. Next pitch, and that's a little bit low and away. Outfield, they have Juan Perez in left, Dexter Fowler in center with Jason Hayward in right. David Ross is the catcher. The DH, we're going with DHs in this National League spring training park today. The DH is Shane Victorino, who spent some time with the Angels last year. He's trying to make the Cubs roster as Trout fouls that one back behind the plate.
As we were talking about yesterday, too, it makes absolute sense this early in spring to just allow even the National League teams to evaluate one more bat and use a DH at home.
So Trout battling here against Johnson. 2 on, nobody out, just underway. No score from Mesa. Here's the pitch. This is a drive. It's hit well into center field. Going back is Fowler. He's out on the warning track. He's going to make the catch near the wall in dead center. It's hit deep enough. Both runners will tag in advance on the long fly out. Well, that one just stayed in the ballpark. Fly out. Runners at second and third, 1 away, and C.J. Cron will be the batter.
Good base running does not go into slumps, and there it is once again. It becomes not just a deep fly ball center field out, but a productive deep fly ball to center field because of the base running alertness, especially by Cole Calhoun.
So here is Cron getting ready to bat with 2 in scoring position. Here's the pitch on C.J. He takes that one for a called strike.
There are situations that we know will follow C.J. Cron often. in the middle of that lineup. This calls for nothing but contact and to play Pepper.
Here's the next pitch on Crone. He goes after that one, fouls it off on the right side, backing out of play.
A big separator between guys that can get to 90, 95, even 100 RBIs. And then the megastars that are proven run producers that can get to 125, 130. It's this type of at bat, not getting too big.
There's the 2-strike pitch, and that one freezes him. That was a good-looking breaking ball. Struck him out looking. So Crone, who in the first 3 games this spring has had a lot of people on base, takes a called 3rd strike. That'll be the 2nd out. Angels need a 2-out hit, and Drelton Simmons, who's DHing today, he will likely play in the field at shortstop for the Angels tomorrow against Seattle. He will step up to the plate, batting out of the 5 spot. This is his first at bat this spring. Right-handed batter. Angels got him from the Braves, one of the premier defenders in the game. Hit 265 last year with Atlanta. Takes that one for a called strike.
Ironically, he was traded for a very popular player in Eric Ibar, who also wore number 2.
Here's the next pitch, and it's grounded on the third base side, but right at La Stella. His throw in plenty of time. Angels threaten but fail to score here in the top of the first. We've completed a half inning from Mesa. There's no score on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Driven by Mazda, driving matters. Jared Weaver has completed his warm-up tosses. We're ready to go. Bottom of the first inning here at Sloan Park in Mesa. Dexter Fowler will lead it off. Then he'll be followed by Ben Zobrist and Jason Hayward. Game time temperature today, 86 degrees. And they tell us in Chicago, the home of the Cubs, of course, it's 36 degrees. So 50 degrees warmer here in Mesa than Chicago. And I guess that kind of figures this time of year here in early March, first week of March. And the pitch, and that one is a pitch that is on the inside corner. We're also expecting some snow in Chicago today. Here's the next pitch, cut and a miss. 0-2 on Dexter Fowler, switch hitter, batting from the left side. Looked like Fowler was going to be playing elsewhere this year, and then all of a sudden, not too long ago, the Cubs swooped in and got him, and there's a swing and a miss, and boy, Jared Weaver baffling Fowler there, struck him out on 3 pitches.
He went 81 miles an hour, and then dropped a 74.
So one gone, and here is Ben Zobrist. Zobrist reunited with Joe Madden. They were together in Tampa Bay. Zobrist was a free agent after last season, finished up last year with the world champion Royals, and as a free agent signed with the Chicago Cubs.
This man is a fine ball player.
Here's the pitch he takes for a strike. Weaver not wasting any time at all. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. And here comes the next pitch, and that one is cut on and missed. So the count 1-2. Angels around the infield. Crone at first, Sherman Johnson at second, Yunel Escobar at third, and Cliff Pennington at short. Next pitch grounded on the right side and through. 2-strike single for Zobrist as he bounces it on out to Cole Calhoun. So the Cubs have their first base runner today, and Jason Hayward, another newcomer for them, will be the next batter.
Well, Terry, as he described Ben Zobrist to me before the game, he is a
player's player.
Believe it.
Yep. Very well respected, and rightfully so.
There is not a manager in baseball that would not like to have somebody like a Ben Zobrist. And one of those names that kind of has flown under the radar in one aspect. Ben Zobrist has played in 5 postseasons already. And he's a world champion right now.
Yep. Cubs signed him to a 4-year, $56 million deal. Here's the pitch, and a big cut and a miss by Hayward. Speaking of big deals, he signed an 8-year deal in the offseason for $184 million, did Jason Hayward.
And those close to him tell me he left money on the table with other ball clubs because he wanted to play in Chicago.
Pick-off toss. Back to the bag goes Zobrist. He had only 3 stolen bases last year between Oakland and Kansas City. Hayward is a guy, it's almost amazing, but over the last 3 years, he has more stolen bases than home runs. And he is a big man. He's about 6'5", 245-pounder.
And think about it, Terry. Up to about, a week ago, he was supposed to be their center fielder, but there are some reservations about that, saying we just don't want that body to wear down. He is a magnificent right fielder, and all the metrics, all the numbers, rounding him up is what got him that big contract. Not his power or production, but everything all around.
And there's another off-speed delivery that baffles Hayward. He swings and misses that 2-strike pitch, struck him out. So Weaver has baffled them so far here in this first inning. 2 outs, runner at first. There are strikeouts for Jarrett.
Well, just when he thought Weaver couldn't drop it down a little bit more, he went 74 changeup on Fowler. He went 66 miles an hour on the curveball there on Hayward. That's pitching.
And the batter now is Baez, and a pickoff toss over to first base. Diving back to the bag goes the base runner Zobrist.
And I sure recall the days, Terry, when it was Jared Weaver's first start of the spring, and it was a 92, 93, 94, and fastball changeup, go hitting.
Right. Here's the next pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Snap throw to first. Diving back to the bag over there goes Zobrist. Angels outfield today. In left field for the Angels is Craig Gentry. Center fielder Mike Trout. Cole Calhoun in right. Carlos Perez behind the plate. And Drelton Simmons is the DH. And Jared Weaver, 33 years old, on the hill. 0-1 pitch. Tapped foul right over by the Cubs dugout on the third base side.
Weaver's only a season removed from having won 18 games. Cole tied for the league lead with 2 other pitchers. And then that margin of error really got smaller last season, especially on the road. It was night and day with him on the road versus home.
He's way in front here, 0-2 on Baez, and the next delivery, and he goes after that one, fouls it back behind the plate. Baez is a guy who will strike out a lot. In fact, a couple seasons ago, 2014 season, between the majors and the minors, he struck out 225 times.
He is not afraid to hack.
Mike Scioscia saying something to Kerwin Danley, and then Danley responding. I don't.
There's some question about the count. And
yeah.
what he had called earlier.
Yep.
In fact, Weaver was also questioning what happened on that snap throw pitch he made.
Here's the next delivery, and here's a pop-up on the third base side. This should be the end of the inning. Straddling the foul line, making the grab on it is Escobar, and that'll do it. Nice first inning of work for Jared Weaver here this spring. No runs, they had a hit, no errors, they leave one. After one, no score on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Second inning we go here in Mesa. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Angels Baseball. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of today's game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball. Well, as we start the second inning, the Cubs have a new pitcher, and his name is Stephen Fife. He is a right-hander. So Johnson went just one inning, gave up 2 hits, no runs, struck out a batter, and Cliff Pennington will get ready to lead things off here for the Angels. First pitch on Pennington, and he takes that one high and away for ball 1. It's 1 ball, no strikes.
Sir, does this mean Joe Maddon's having a super bullpen day here in spring training already?
We might see 9 pitchers today from the Cubs. Here's one bounce right back to the mound. It's stopped by the new pitcher Fife, and he throws out Pennington on that comebacker. There's 1 away. Carlos Perez will be the next batter. Fife will throw a fastball, has some sink on it, curve, and a split finger pitch he will throw. Former 3rd round pick of the Boston Red Sox, Stephen Fife. Non-roster pitcher with the Cubs here this spring, and the first delivery, that one is in there on Carlos Perez.
Got a nice tail on that fastball. You see the catcher Ross setting up outside. That ball coming right back to that corner.
Next delivery, that one is low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fife has pitched in the big leagues in the past 18 games and saw action with the Dodgers in the past. There's one a little bit low. He made 1 start for the Dodgers in 2014, 10 starts for the Dodgers in 2013. And last season missed the whole year because of injuries. Here's a ground ball hit right to third. It's gobbled up by La Stella, and his throw will easily get Perez. So a couple ground ball outs. 2 down quickly here in the second with no score, and Craig Gentry will be the next batter.
Well, if you're going to play for Joe Maddon, don't just bring a glove to the ballpark. Bring multiple gloves. Tommy La Stella. Second and third. Javier Baez. Short. Second. Third. First base, Chris Bryant last year, super prospect. Well, you're not just a third baseman, play some outfield. And that is how Joe Madden gets and maximizes everything, Terry, out of his players. You name it, be open-minded, he'll do it, and he's not afraid to test it in the regular season.
First pitch was a ball here on Gentry, and the next one, that one is bounced by the mound and through into center field. So Craig Gentry is aboard. 2-out hit for the Angels, and Sherman Johnson, who played last year at AA Arkansas for the Angels, will be the next batter.
I'd like to see Craig Gentry go out there and start showing Mike Scioscia what he can do on the bases. He is an above-average base stealer. Career 77 stolen bases, only 13 caught stealing.
Toss over to first, and he dives back.
Back in 2014, he stole 20 bases in 22 attempts.
And he has a decent lead over there at first base. We'll see if he might be on the move. Not on this one, and Johnson takes that one for a called strike.
Renicky coaching third. Gary Sarcina at first base, and with Renicky, there's so many things that he'll give to you as a base runner that indicate this will be a great time without it necessarily being a sign to steal.
Next pitch, and Johnson cuts at that one and misses it. Left-handed batter Sherman Johnson, non-roster invitee in Angel camp this spring. And he hit only .204 last year at AA Arkansas. He had a tough year last year. Has a pretty good eye at the plate. He will strike out, but he also had 89 walks last season. So he will force pitchers to throw strikes to him.
We'd like to see that batting average get a little bit higher. And the Angels want that balance between aggressiveness, patience, and not taking away from your natural abilities. But he's got to get the average up.
Here's the pitch. That one is high. He moved to AA for the first time last year and struggled in the Texas League, obviously, with that low batting average. Has some speed. He stole 20 bases last year. Kind of reminds you of a left-handed hitting version of Howie Kendrick, kind of built along the same lines. And there's a pitch he cuts and misses. Struck him out, and that's how the inning will end. Nothing doing for the Angels here in the second. Bottom of the second coming up in Mesa. There's no score. Angels and Cubs on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports Web. Bottom of the second with no score. Angels and Cubs here in Mesa. Fans, we want to remind you that every fan matters when the Angels take on the Texas Rangers on Thursday, April the 7th through the 10th. Fans in attendance on Friday, April the 8th will receive a plaid blanket courtesy of St. Joseph Hogue Health while supplies last. Visit angels.com for tickets. And the first pitch in there on Shane Victorino. Here's the next pitch that's in there for a called strike. Victorino trying to win a reserve outfield spot with the Cubs, and back to switch hitting, I guess, Jose.
That's one piece that he says because of the back injuries he could not, was obviously accomplished. But he knows the value that there is in being a switch hitter. And now he says his body feels healthier and he needs to get back to that.
There's the next pitch on Victorino, and he pops that one into very shallow left field. Long run in, but coming in quickly as Gentry has good speed, and he makes the catch.
Yes, he does. Well, he covered a lot of ground there on a, swing type. Defensive swing there from Shane Victorino.
So the next batter will be the shortstop, Addison Russell. Russell, a very young player, only 22 years old. 13 home runs a year ago for the Cubs.
He immediately proved to be a better defensive player than starting Castro, and Joe Maddon had no trepidation whatsoever to let Castro know who was going to be the shortstop, eventually moving Castro over to second base. And you talk about an all-star, multiple-time all-star Castro, who's now with the Yankees. But they were a much better team with Russell as the shortstop. And Castro made a nice transition over to second base.
1-0 pitch to him. That one is up and in and misses. Ball two. 2 balls and no strikes.
There's not that many managers that would make a bold move like that in season.
Right. And it happened last year in August when Joe Maddon decided to make Russell the everyday shortstop. There's a cut and a miss. 2 balls and 1 strike. Addison Russell was originally in the A's organization, first round pick of the A's, and Cubs got him when they traded Samardzija over to the A's back in July of 2014. There's one outside.
I recall how many times we both heard this name pop around A's camp for so many years. How many people just praised him. Now we know why.
Yep. Here's the 3-1 on Russell, and that is right in there for a called strike.
So far, Weaver's best fastball, 83 miles an hour.
Russell will swing and miss. He struck out 149 times last year. Here's the next delivery, and that one is cut on and miss. Got him. Breaking ball struck him out. Weaver's 3rd strikeout. Jarrett has faced 6 batters and has struck out half of them, and with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 2nd, here's Tommy La Stella.
That's where a lot of times you got to forget about the numbers and look at what pitching does for you. And it's not a knock on anybody, especially Garrett Richards, who worked 2 innings yesterday with a plus on 95, 96, no strikeouts. Here's Weaver through 6 batters, 3 strikeouts, top it out at 83.
Left-handed hitting with Stella batting, and he takes the first pitch a little bit outside. Escobar at 3rd is way in. Stella's the kind of hitter, he'll spray the ball around, not much power. And the next pitch, he lines that one though in the shallow center. It'll drop in for a base hit. No line drive single. That's the 2nd Cubs hit. 2-out single here in the 2nd, and David Ross, the catcher, will be the next batter.
That's a nice piece of hitting. Once Stella said, well, I know what's happening here with a lot of these left-handed batters with these longer swings. I need to stay right with it, spread out a little bit more of my stance, and let that ball travel a little bit more.
So Ross, veteran backup catcher for the Cubs, 38 years old, digs in. Couple veterans squaring off here as Weaver works with 2 outs. No score in the 2nd, and that's right in there for a strike.
David Ross, who is almost like another manager, has already said when his days are done, he would like to get into managing. Great baseball mind.
There's the next pitch, and that's a breaking ball low and away. Ross, this is his farewell tour here in 2016. He's already announced he'll retire at the end of the season.
You think he'll get a job in baseball?
I would think so.
Quick?
I know John Lester would hire him. He's his personal catcher. And the pitch. It's skied in the air on the left side of the infield. This should be the final out. In foul territory behind the coaching box, making the catch is Escobar. And another good inning for Jared Weaver, whose day is likely over. No runs, they had a hit, no errors. They leave a runner at first. After 2, no score in Mesa on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. We get ready to move to the third inning. There is no score. Fans become a season seat holder, enjoy exclusive benefits and the same seats all season long at the greatest value. Visit angels.com for more info. Yanel Escobar to lead things off. And the first pitch on its way. That one is right in there for a called strike. Looks like Fife is still out there on the mound for his second inning. And the next pitch, that's grounded on the right side. The second baseman, Zobrist, has it and scoops it and throws and gets it there in time. Well, that was a nice play by Zobrist, ranging to his left. Had to make an off-balance throw. All of his momentum taking him away a little bit, but got enough on the throw to nip Escobar for the first out.
Another player, you bring that glove, you make sure it's a multiple position glove for Ben Zobrist, who has played everywhere for Joe Madden through the years.
So here's Cole Calhoun, who singled his first time up. He's 4 for 4 already in the Cactus League, and the pitch on its way, that's in there for a called strike. Fife is ready, and the pitch chopped on the right side, a foul ball. Fife did not play at all last year. Had Tommy John elbow surgery, and that surgery was back in August of 2014, so he is on the comeback trail.
So far, there's no holding back.
Yep. Next pitch grounded sharply. That is right at Zobrist, and he's going to make another play. Not as difficult as the last one, hit right at him. 2 quick outs here in the Angels' third. Mike Trout will be the next batter.
Another Angel property who is not holding back after Tommy John surgery is Tyler Skaggs. Even though he is being brought along slowly, he is pretty much on schedule with his long toss, his bullpens, and everything around his teammates. So very encouraging to see Tyler Skaggs on the right path.
Here's the pitch, and that one is in there on Trout for a strike. It'll be interesting to see when Skaggs makes his first appearance here in Arizona. As you mentioned, everyone taking things on a little slower pace with him, and rightfully so, coming back from the TJ surgery. 0-2 is the count on Trout.
Trout just missed one to deep center field in that first inning.
Next pitch, that one bounces in. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes on the Angels all-star center fielder Mike Trout, with C.J. Cron waiting on deck.
There's a lot of distinct and special things about Mike Trout, but also very distinct and special is the sound when he makes contact.
Here's the pitch, and Trout, good eye on that one. Breaking pitch low and away, takes it for ball 2.
It's amazing to watch Trout take that pitch and immediately kind of get a little upset of himself about not letting that ball go a little bit deeper and jumping at it.
2-2, and it's a little high and outside, so it's a full count. Trout working Fife here. We'll see how this one plays out with a full count. Everyone set. The right-hander's pitch, line down the left field side. It is a foul ball. A few feet off the line, it drops down the left field side, so Trout will head back to the batter's box with the count still full at 3-2. Fans, want to remind you, Experian, get your serious and get serious about your credit. Go to Experian.com today. Next pitch, and that one chopped foul back behind the plate. Good at bat here for Trout. Stays alive.
5 shows you good velocity so far. He's at 92, 93.
And the payoff again, lined into center field. Going back on it is Fowler. He will make the catch. Trout's hit a couple right on the button here his first 2 times up, but each have been caught by Dexter Fowler. The inning is over on the lineout. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. No score. Angels and Cubs on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels will make a pitching change as we start the bottom of the 3rd inning. Fernando Salas will be the next pitcher. Pitcher number 2 of the day. This will be his first appearance this spring. So Jared Weaver goes 2 innings, and he faces 8 batters, retires 6 of 8, strikes out 3 of 8, gives up 2 hits, no runs, no walks.
We've got it done.
Where did he top out today with the fastball?
83 miles an hour. Good enough. Now 83, but look at the separator. Changeup 73, 74, curveball as low as 66 miles an hour, which is the beauty with which he struck out Jason Hayward in the first inning.
Yep, he did get some swings and misses. Here's a ball lifted in the air down the right field side. Crone is chasing the first baseman in foul ground. Down the right side, it's going to get back and out of play.
Talking to Jared early in the spring, Terry, he said the biggest compliment, the one that he'll remember the most about last season, as tough as it was a game he threw early September against the Rangers, and the Angels needed to stay alive and win series. And after that game, who complimented him? Greg Maddux.
There's a line shot into left field, and making the crouching catch out there is Craig Gentry on that low liner. Perez hit it hard. Juan Perez, the leadoff man in the inning, retired, and now it'll go back to the top of their batting order in Dexter Fowler.
Well, think about that. All Greg Maddux said was that was pitching.
Yeah.
Of course, I think we all know the margin of error is not it was good, but certainly got to find a way. J.B. Moyer found a way. Greg Maddux found a way. Why not Weave?
Well, we'll see if he can bounce back here for the Angels in 2016. First pitch on Fowler from Salas, a ball to count 1-0. And next delivery, that's way outside. It misses. Salas worked in a lot of games for the Angels last season, 72 games. And he had 74 strikeouts in those 72 appearances and 63 and 2/3 innings. Here's a bouncing ball hit right to second, fielded by Johnson. Easy play, and Fowler is retired for the second time. Two are gone in the third. Ben Zobrist will be the next batter.
As you mentioned, Salas is one of those guys that Mike Scioscia knows. He has also a lot of versatility to him. Seems like he lost a little bit of his fastball last year, and thanks to Mike Butcher and Steve Solis in that bullpen just helping out to make sure he stayed with the finish on that fastball to make the difference between that 89 and that 91.
First delivery on Zobrist taken low for ball one. Zobrist has one of the two Cub hits so far. He singled back in the bottom of the first. Two outs. Nobody on. No score in the third. And here's one popped up near home plate. Foul ground. It's playable, and Carlos Perez will grab it, and the inning is over. Quick, strong inning for Fernando Salas here in the bottom of the third. We're headed to the fourth inning. Angels will have Crone, Simmons, and Pennington stepping up. No score on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Scoreless game as we start the fourth inning, and the Cubs have a new pitcher, their third of the day, Neil Ramirez. He replaces Stephen Fife, who worked 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeouts. Ramirez was in 19 games for the Cubs a year ago. Right-hander, good size, 6'4", 190-pounder. He had a 1-0 record in 19 relief appearances last year for Chicago. Kept the ball in the ballpark, gave up just 1 home run, and had a 3.21 ERA. So Crone, Simmons, and Pennington will be the batters. Fans, we want to remind you the Angels opening series at the Big A is right around the corner. Monday, April the 4th, a month from today, the Angels will take on the Chicago Cubs on the 4th and 5th of April at Angel Stadium. Every game matters, so visit Angels.com to purchase your tickets today. Right-hander against right-hander. Here's the first pitch on Crone. And that one taken for ball 1. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Crone struck out looking with runners at second and third and 1 out back in the first inning. Angels were looking to get something off his bat, but he was retired, and there's a pitch fouled off on the right side, backing out of play. We'll check out the out-of-town scoreboard on this Friday. It's brought to you by the Ram 1500, available with Eco Diesel V6 that gets an estimated 29 miles per gallon highway. Visit ramtrucks.com to learn more. And the next pitch on Crone, low. Florida Grapefruit League. Toronto beat Baltimore 4-3. Mark Trumbo hit a home run in a losing cause for his new club, the Orioles. Phillies leading the Braves 9-7 in the 8th. Twins up on the Pirates 2-1 in the 9th. There's a pitch that's ball away. Tigers shut out the Yankees 3-0. Miguel Cabrera hit a home run in that Detroit win.
There's a shock.
Yep. Astros a 6-3 lead against the Cardinals in the 8th. Boston a 2-0 lead against Tampa Bay in the 6th. Miami split squad, trailing 4-2 in the 8th inning to the Nationals. There's the next one on Crone. Fouled off on the right side, backing out of play. And the other game still going on in the Grapefruit League in Florida. The other Marlins split squad tied with the Mets 4-4 in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Miguel Cabrera, another year, another batting title. And also the open mentality he's always had for his ball club. Terry, there's a chance he plays a lot of third base this season. And he's like, fine. Victor Martinez now healthy enough to play some first base with the Tigers.
Here's Crone fouling another one off just to our right, backing out of play. So pretty good battle going on here.
It's not very often you hear a mega superstar, triple crown winner, MVP, multiple batting titles, where on the defensive side he is more than open to do whatever it takes for his ball club, or in fact that he's asked to do so many things on the defensive side, and he's always fine with it.
And the next delivery, it's lifted in the air into right center field, and it's going to split Fowler and Hayward. It just dropped in between the two of them. They were both chasing it. It wasn't hit very deep at all, but that one found some daylight, and Crone has a leadoff hit.
It's one of those times when you're playing deep here in this thin air conditions in Arizona, and the big swing from a big man can certainly fool you. Big swing off the end of the bat. Advantage of C.J. Crone.
So Crone has the 4th Angel hit of the day. Angels had 17 hits yesterday against Oakland pitching in that 8-2 win. Here's the pitch, and it's fouled back not too far away from us. Right behind home plate. Here that one hit the grandstand roof. So it's no balls and 1 strike on Simmons. He bounced out to third, his first at bat. Simmons has yet to play in the field. This is the first game he's appeared in. He's very likely going to play shortstop tomorrow for the Angels, and we'll be excited to see him in action out there in the field. One of the premier game-changing defenders in the game. There's one that's low and outside. But his arm has been, I don't know, maybe spring training arm, whatever you want to call it. The Angels aren't overly concerned, but just wanting to give him a little extra rest as far as the throwing arm, the right arm is concerned.
Which is a plus arm in any position. Want to take it easy? Take him slow.
There's one a little bit inside for ball. 2-1 to count on Simmons, who's 26 years old. Now you look at this lineup today for the Angels, the starting lineup, and the youngest player in the Angel lineup today, Mike Trout.
Still.
That's even with Sherman Johnson in the starting lineup. There's a swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. Trout's crazy. Actually a little younger than Sherman Johnson, who hasn't gotten past Double-A yet in his pro career.
That's unbelievable considering everything that Mike Trout has already accomplished.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Younger than Carlos Perez, who's the Angel catcher. Next pitch lifted in the air. That one's hit into left field. Backpedaling and under making the grab on it is Perez, a few feet from the rim of the track. So Simmons gave it a pretty good ride, but a routine out. It's out number one. Cliff Pennington will be the next batter. Pennington bounced one back to the mound when he matched up against Stephen Fife his first time up. Switch hitter batting from the left side. Ramirez is set. And his first pitch on Pennington. He pops up a bunt foul third base side. And the catcher Ross makes a great diving catch. Then tagging, moving up to second and getting thrown out is Crone. Wow, what a play by 38-year-old catcher David Ross on that one. Made a spectacular catch and ends up turning it into a double play to end the inning. Boy, that was pretty special right there.
It certainly was. That is a veteran catcher, many miles on that body, sacrificing that body and still catching the ball, aware enough and alert enough to go out there and finish up the double play.
So a scoreless inning for the Angels in the fourth. We're headed to the bottom of the fourth on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Bottom of the fourth inning, the Angels have a new pitcher in the ball game. Their third pitcher of the day, Jose Alvarez, takes over for Fernando Salas and gets ready to face Jason Hayward. And the first pitch from the Angel lefty is right in there for a called strike. Lefty-lefty matchup. Alvarez making his first appearance this spring. 64 games for him a year ago. 4-3 record, 3.49 ERA, and there's a cut and a miss by Hayward. So the count jumps to no balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Jose became a very dependable and reliable arm for the Angels. He came along from the Tigers a couple of springs ago for Andrew Romine.
Here's the 0-2. And that one just missed, a little bit low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hayward, Baez, and Victorino, 3, 4, and 5 batters for the Cubs.
Alvarez, he'll live between his 89-92 slider, change, curveball.
There's a pitch that's low and away. So the count even now, 2-2.
But it looked like, Terry, like Cesar Ramos was going to be the guy Mike Swisher would use the most in certain lefty call situations. With the confidence and what he saw from Alvarez, he took over a lot of those important spots over Cesar Ramos, who ended up having pretty decent numbers for the Angels too.
So the next delivery to 2-2, that is a called third strike. Got him looking, snuck one in on the inside part of the plate. Hayward a strikeout victim for the 2nd time today.
With that curveball, maybe he did not attempt or want to throw it in an inner hand, but for sure. And that front door absolutely froze Jason Hayward.
So Angels pitchers with 4 strikeouts so far. The Cubs struck out more times than any team in baseball a year ago. But with that said, they also won 97 games last year. There's a pitch that is cut on and missed by Javier Baez.
Of course, missing from this lineup is their mega young star, Chris Bryant.
Here's the pitch, and that one misses inside.
Bryant was pretty much the story all spring, last spring, as to what the Cubs were going to do with him leaving camp.
And he ended up being the Rookie of the Year in the National League. Here's the pitch. It's fouled back behind the plate.
Rookie of the Year, impactful player. Plays some third base, plays some outfield. Drove in 99 runs. Got his service time cut. He did not make the team out of spring training. And instantly became a fan favorite in Chicago.
Here's the next delivery. A little flare into left center. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Sounded like that one crossed Baez's bat, but he'll take it. He has his first hit of the day. 1-out single here for the Cubs in the 4th. That's their 3rd hit in the ballgame. And Shane Victorino will be the next batter.
As we're talking about the importance that Alvarez became for Mike Swisher. In September alone, Alvarez threw in 14 games. In those 14 games, he pitched 8 in the 3rd innings. Allowed 1 earned run. That was a 1.08 ERA. It was get in, get out, but I need you. And the Angels' fantastic run in September.
Runner goes, pitch a strike, throw to second, not in time. Sliding in under the tag of Johnson is Baez. So he has some speed. Baez showed it right there. We have a runner in scoring position now. Baez got a good jump on Alvarez there. That was a pretty good throw by Perez, but the Angel catcher just didn't have enough time to get it there. There's one that's popped in the air in his shallow left field. Easy play for Gentry. He's under. He'll put it away. That's the 2nd out. So Victorino is an easy out. He's lied out a couple times to the left hand, but 2 away. Addison Russell will be the next batter.
We've seen pretty much here the same swing for Victorino from both sides of the plate. Just not able to finish his swings. A lot of lazy fly balls. We saw that a lot, unfortunately, with the Angels too when he was brought in. With the Angels, he only hit .214.
So 2 gone with the runner at second. No score here in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch right on the outside part of the plate. Good looking pitch. The native of Venezuela, Jose Alvarez, going for the Angels. And his next pitch fouled off on the left side. The Angels will be on the road again tomorrow in Peoria to take on the Seattle Mariners, and Andrew Heaney will face Wade Miley in that one. Then Sunday, the Angels back in Tempe. That'll be Nick Tropiano against veteran Chris Young. There's one that bounces in and got away from the catcher Perez, and advancing to third without a throw on that wild pitch will be Baez. So now he's at third with 2 outs.
Those were catcher Carlos Perez. He did everything he could, and with a spin as tight as it was, and we got an indication of that on the one he threw the leadoff hitter Jason Braver when he struck him out. That spin hits that third, and you just never know where that ball's going to go.
Here comes the next pitch, and that one is hit well into left field, and it is really hit, and it is gone. No doubter there off the bat of Addison Russell. That's a 2-out, 2-run homer. First runs in the ball game. It's 2-0 Cubs.
Well, Terry, no doubter, no doubt. Right when it made contact, that ball was going to be landing very far. And for Alvarez, last year he allowed 5 home runs. 4 came off right-handed bats.
So the Cubs on the board first today. LaStella is the next batter, left-handed hitter, and he hits one sharply, but right to Pennington, the shortstop. He gobbles it up, throws him out, and the inning is over. But a pair of runs for the Cubs on a pair of hits. The big one, the homer by Addison Russell. We are headed to the 5th inning. Cubs up on the Angels 2-0 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Well, we get ready to move to the 5th inning, and wholesale changes for the Cubs. We'll pick those up for you in just a moment. They have a new battery in the ball game, and the new pitcher, as he begins to get ready for action for the Cubs, is Carl Edwards Jr. It's a right-hander, and boy, is he slender. And the first pitch, that one on Carlos Perez. It misses for ball 1, and the count 1 ball, no strikes.
In a single digits in that uniform makes him look even thinner.
There's one on the outside corner. Edwards listed at 6'2", 165 pounds, and he has the nickname of the string bean slinger.
We know why. He can also bring it.
Yeah.
At 92 to 95.
He was in the Texas Rangers organization at one time and part of the Matt Garza deal a few years ago. Here's the next delivery. That's off speed. It's fouled off down the right side, backing out of play. One ball, two strikes, the count. New catcher is Wilson Contreras. And they've changed just about all the positions here. There's a called third strike that gets Carlos Perez. So that is the first out here in the Angels' fifth inning. Edwards, who's pitching, replaces Ramirez, who gave up a hit with no runs last inning against the Angels. And Carl Edwards Jr. is the fourth pitcher of the day for Chicago. Here's Craig Gentry batting for the Angels. He takes that pitch inside.
He is popping that glove. And he throws a lot of body at you. A lean body at you with so many moving parts.
He's been clocked up to 97 miles per hour in the pitch. That one is fouled off on the right side. He has a good curveball. We've seen that pitch already since he came in and a changeup. But it is amazing how thin this guy is. But he has a good arm.
He's up there in the D. Gordon type frame. D. Gordon obviously not as tall.
Yeah. There's a fastball that just missed inside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Those signs did not matter. D. Gordon went out and won a Gold Glove, stolen base title, and a batting title for the Marlins last season.
Here's the next pitch. That's a bouncer off the glove of Edwards. It caroms over near the new second baseman. That's Alcantara. And the ball skips off his glove, so no throw to first base, and Gentry is on. So the Angels have a 1-out base runner.
A ball hit well. Right through the box.
That'll be a hit for Gentry, so he's 2 for 2.
Alcantara not able to come up with it cleanly as the ball took off of his glove. Gentry aboard again. We'll love to see him run.
At the plate for the Angels now is Sherman Johnson, and the first pitch to him, a ball. The count, 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, now you go to school to see what Edwards Jr. has for you when you're aboard in terms of what kind of lead you get, and obviously the timing being relayed to you by first base coach Gary Nisarcini.
Here's the next pitch. Johnson takes, and that's outside. New first baseman for the Cubs is Matt Clark. And we mentioned the new second baseman who had that ball ricochet over to him, Alcantara. They have Candelario playing at third base, and Nori Kawasaki, who had been with the Toronto Blue Jays for a few seasons. He is playing shortstop. John Andrioli is the right fielder, and Albert Almora is in center. Juan Perez still in left field. He's the lone holdover right now from their starting lineup. Here's the pitch. It's low. So working a 3-1 count here is Sherman Johnson, the Angels' 9-hole hitter. Escobar waiting on deck. Edwards taking time. The 3-1 pitch chopped on the right side. That's a foul ball.
Truly surprised that Mike Scioscia did not have Gentry running their 3-1. And yes, Edwards Jr. has shown the ability to hold the baseball, vary his movement towards the plate. An abbreviated slide step, I would say.
To a full count. 1 out, runner at first. There goes Gentry, the pitch, and it's low. So, talked about Johnson. He's a patient hitter. He draws a walk here. And now the Angels have a little threat brewing with 1 out. Runners at first and second. Top of the batting order now. And Escobar. Escobar today is 1 for 2. Right-hander against right-hander as Edwards okays the sign. He was in 5 games for the Cubs a year ago, all in relief, and the pitch. It's a off-speed pitch that misses high.
The one thing he's noticed when Yunel Escobar steps up to hit, there's that confidence. Yeah, those shoulders propped up. Again, one of the best hitters in the National League last year, 314. Throw in 56 runs with 9 home runs.
There's a pitch that he takes outside. Edwards starting to struggle a little bit with his command. Base hit Camino around. The Angels down 2-0 as the 5th inning is underway here in Mesa. Here's the next pitch. Escobar takes, and that one is right in there for a called strike. Fastball 93 miles per hour. Infield is playing it at double play depth. Cole Calhoun waits on deck. The Angels' best threat so far today came in the 1st inning when the Angels had runners at 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, but unable to get anyone home. Here's the next pitch. This is bounced back to the mound. It might be 2. Flip to second, 1. Relay to first. It is a double play, and that'll end the inning. So the Angels had an opportunity there, but it ends on the comebacker double play. We have completed 4.5. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Angels trailing the Cubs by a score of 2-0 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Bottom of the 5th, it's 2-0 Cubs. Angels make a number of changes. We'll pick those up for you in just a moment. Fans, no freezers, no microwaves, no heat lamps ever at In-N-Out. When it comes to burgers, fries, and shakes, always fresh is the only way. Why not stop in after today's game?
Let's do that, Terry.
Let's do it.
There's a few on the way. Why not? Get your special animal style. Yeah. Triple. 4x4.
Ramon Ramirez is the new pitcher for the Angels. He's on the comeback trail. Signed as a free agent. Has considerable major league experience. And he's ready to go. Almora is the first batter, and this is his first time up today. He takes the pitch for a ball to count 1 ball, no strikes.
Ramon Ramirez can fool you with his size. He can get the fastball up there and also have a very effective changeup.
Here's the next pitch. This is lifted in the air into center field. Quentin Berry is out there now. He's replaced Mike Trout, and he battles the sun out there and just makes the grab on that one. Boy, when he spotted that ball, it was already kind of below his knees, and that's where he ended up catching it. He had to scoop down, get the glove underneath to make the catch on that one.
Good thing is it counts as another F8.
Juan Perez will be the next batter. Ramon Ramirez, who's pitching for the Angels, takes over and becomes the 4th pitcher of the ball game. Jose Alvarez worked 1 inning, gave up 2 hits and 2 runs, gave up the home run ball to Russell as the pitch is fouled back on the right side. Alvarez also had a strikeout and threw a wild pitch. Ramirez looking in for the sign. And here's the next delivery. This one is chopped out to short. Pennington is still playing there, and his throw over to Crone is in time. That'll be the second out. 2 gone. Ramon Ramirez last year pitched in the Mexican League, and he actually had 29 saves last year in the Mexican League, but he has pitched a lot in the majors, as we mentioned. He's been with the Rockies, the Royals, the Red Sox. He's had a couple of tours with the Giants. He's pitched for the Mets and the Orioles.
It's got a ring, Terry.
Yeah.
With the Giants. One of those quiet acquisitions by Brian Sabian and that staff there. And a very well-stacked bullpen, including Ramirez.
This is Wilson Contreras facing him. He's batting for the first time. He's the new catcher. He's batting out of the leadoff spot.
With Ramirez and all the experience, he will quick pitch you. He just did it on the hitter.
There's one a little bit low. And Ramirez also briefly pitched in Japan. You got to go back some 14 years ago when he saw a little action in Japanese baseball, but considerable major league action. He's kind of an intriguing guy in Angel camp. I know he's kind of caught the eye of Mike Scioscia a little bit.
Oh, yes. First week throwing some bullpens. Mike Scioscia was hearing this little guy pop some gloves in that bullpen, and then watching the action of the changeup and really caught his eye. I would not be surprised if the Angels give him a very long look.
Here's the next pitch, and that one a little bit inside. He's always had a good changeup.
You saw it there at 84 miles an hour. That one got away from him, and so far we've seen him top out at 92.
2-0 Cubs. We're in the bottom of the 5th here in Mesa. The Angels have out hit them 5-4, but the Cubs lead by a pair. Here's the next pitch, fouled off on the first base side. So still a full count, 3-2. Fans, don't forget, if your computer is running slow, go to mycleanpc.com. Get a free computer diagnosis. In minutes, you can activate MyClean PC software to clean out the junk that may be slowing down your computer. Visit mycleanpc.com. Two outs, no one on. Full count on Contreras. Next pitch. He stays alive, fouling another one off.
I know his first outing of the spring. That was not a good pitch. And for many reasons. He was just mega late on a fastball. And then you're going to speed up his bat by throwing a changeup, and he just missed squaring that one there, Almora.
and the next delivery on the payoff, that one's going to miss ball 4. So a 2-out walk. Candelario will be the next batter.
For the Cubs in this beautiful venue, 3rd season now after 17 years in Hohokam Park, also here in Mesa. As we mentioned earlier, the Cubs averaged 14,828 fans last spring. And when you take a look around the dimensions and some of the things around the wall, we'll talk about a little bit more here.
And the first pitch to Candelario, he bounces one right back to Ramirez. He will underhand the toss to Crone, and the inning is over. So good job by Ramirez. It ends on the comebacker. Cubs fail to score in the 5th, but as we go to the 6th, they lead the Angels by a couple. It's 2-0 Chicago on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels will get ready to bat as we go to the 6th inning. A couple of changes for the Cubs. They have a new left fielder, Jacob Panaman, up from minor league camp. He is in left, and the new pitcher is Andori Acevedo, who replaces Carl Edwards. Edwards worked a scoreless inning last inning against the Angels, giving up a hit, walking one, and striking out one. So Acevedo will be their 5th pitcher of the day. And his first delivery, that one from the right-hander, is outside on Rafael Ortega, who's batting for the first time today.
Acevedo has a very interesting delivery. Compact to begin with. He's got big size. He can sling it, and he can absolutely get it to the high 90s.
There's a pitch on the outside corner. That's in there for a called strike.
He could provide a very uncomfortable at-bat to right-handed batters.
Yeah, no doubt. And the next pitch, that one is outside, pops out of the mid of the catcher Contreras. Two balls and one strike. And the next delivery, that one is bounced foul right near home plate. So 2-2 on Ortega. Ortega was in the Cardinals organization last year, and he hit .286 in AAA. Not a whole lot of power, good speed. Angels signed him as a free agent in December. And he's a left-handed batter. Next pitch, liner, but right at the third baseman, and Candelario holds on to it. Ortega bidding for a hit the opposite way, but retire. That's the first out. So Quentin Berry will be the next batter. He's hitting out of Mike Trout's spot. Trout hit the ball hard both times up today, but he was retired by the center fielder both times, Dexter Fowler.
Well, first at bat just missed a 3-run home run to dead center field.
And the pitch on Berry bounces one on the right side, fielded by Alcantara, the second baseman, and throws him out. 2 up, 2 away. G-Man Choi is going to bat for C.J. Cron. So Cron leads the ball game now. He was 1 for 2 today. Could see Choi come in and take over at first base as well. And Choi here in the early going has been getting some at bats. He's already had 3 hits and 6 times up. And he's driven in 3 runs.
That's all you can ask. Get the early opportunity before the regular players start grabbing all the at-bats. Make the most out of it.
Angels down by a score of 2-0 here in the 6th inning. And our score update is brought to you by Experian. Get serious about your credit by visiting Experian.com. First one on Choi, taken low for ball 1. It's 1 ball, no strikes.
Extremely quiet with his feet, extremely quiet with his hands as Choi. From both sides of the plate, pretty much the exact same swing and approach.
Here's the next pitch, and Choi tips that one foul. Got a piece of the catcher Contreras. So it's 1-1 on the South Korean. Third baseman Candelario is playing way off the line, and the shortstop Kawasaki is kind of shaded closer to second. Counts a ball and a strike here on G-Man Choi, and the next pitch, cut and a miss. 1-2 the count. Acevedo is set. His next pitch, and that's chop foul right by the Angels on deck circle. And Drelton Simmons still in the ball game. He's waiting on deck. He's DHing today, seeing his first action of the spring. Here's the next one on Choi, the switch hitter. He hits that one into center field. Backpedaling, though, under waiting and putting it away is Almora, and the inning is over. So the Angels are retired 1-2-3 here in the 6th. We're headed to the bottom of the inning. 2-0 Cubs on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Bottom of the 6th, 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. Ramon Ramirez getting ready for his second inning of relief. The Angels have brought in Roberto Baldacchini to play shortstop, and G-Man Choi stays in the game at first base. First pitch, and that one on Kawasaki. It's taken for a ball. The count 1 ball, no strikes.
And here's something you don't see very often this early in the spring with Mike Scioscia as a reliever going out for his second inning.
Yeah.
In his first outing of the spring.
There's the next pitch, and that one is low and inside on Kawasaki.
Is it one of those times where Mike Scioscia and the organization are thinking, we need to keep this guy stretched out? Let's find out tomorrow morning.
2 balls and no strikes. Yunenori Kawasaki at the plate takes ball 3. It's 3-0.
Back in the World Baseball Classic, I recall Ichiro Suzuki telling me this is the best teammate he's ever had.
Well, he was very popular in Toronto.
Oh, everywhere he's been.
Yep. And here's the next pitch, and that one is a pitch that misses, ball 4, so 4-pitch walk. Kawasaki batting for the first time today, gets on base. So the batter now is Alcantara. This is his first at bat today.
Oh, a couple of seasons ago, under manager Rich Renteria, Alcantara was supposed to be a guy that the Cubs were counting on to be almost treated like a Ben Zobrist type player.
There's a ball that he bunts, and it rolls foul on the third base side. Carlos Perez hustled out from behind the plate, and Kubica came charging in from third, but that one trickled across the line, a foul ball.
Alcantara can play center field, play second base, but high rate of strikeouts, a lot of swings and misses. Cannot be part of his game. But once in a while, he will surprise you with his power, but certainly that's not going to be the issue as to why he stays in the big leagues.
Should be getting the official attendance here today at Sloan Park in Mesa, and they can squeeze in around 15,000 here, and they might have done it today. It's packed. They have the lawn seating and left stretching all the way out to left center, and they also have lawn seating out behind the wall in right center field as well.
They set a record here last year when they packed in 15,342 back on March 27th of last year.
It's a toss over to first base. Kawasaki gets back to the bag safely. The Cubs played yesterday. Yesterday was their first spring training game. They lost to the Brewers 2-1. That game was in Maryville, the spring home of Milwaukee. So this is the Cubs home opener in Cactus League play. There's one that's fouled back, trying to bunt it, the runner up to second, but a foul ball off the bat of Alcantara.
Pretty unique ballpark in many ways. We're talking about dimensions. Of course, not as cozy as Wrigley Field. There's no ivy, but a lot of the things they copied. You talk about that curve, the U-shaped, real tight angle around the backstop. It's all, of course, to get their catchers used to that with a brick. We talk about the indents also in right and left field for the outfielders to get used to the carom and the angle to play in that direction.
There's a pitch that bounces in. Good stop on it by Carlos Perez. Taylor Davis is waiting on deck, so he will be hitting out of Victorino's spot. Victorino was the DH today. Ramirez taking some time between pitches as he works with a runner on, nobody out. The pitch, and that's a little bit low. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the home plate umpire Kerwin Danley signaling to one of the bat boys, hey, I need some baseballs. Running out of them right now.
Kerwin Danley's got that Darth Vader look at him.
Yeah.
Proud USC Trojan. Good friend KD.
So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes here as Ramirez delivers, and the pitch. That one is fouled back on the left side.
Terry, what was Kawasaki doing? It's like he's running.
He was jumping around over there off the bag. I saw that.
Wow. I've seen some bluffs at first base, but boy, I was running in place by Kawasaki on that one.
It was kind of like watching someone on fast forward there.
Working on his high knees while he takes the lead.
Here's the pitch, and that one is low. So all of a sudden, Ramirez here struggling a bit with his control. He did walk a batter last inning. He's walked 1 so far here in the 6th, and he's falling behind. It's a full count.
He looks fatigued already.
Yeah. Angels have some action in the bullpen, although just kind of playing catch right now.
You look at the mechanics, you look at the arm angle, look at the elbow dropping. It's all happening right now.
Toss over to first, pretty close play. Choi over there playing first base. Kawasaki diving back safely. So we'll see what gives here on the full count pitch. Everyone set, and before we see it, another toss over to first base. Kawasaki drawing some attention over there. Angels have been pretty quiet here this afternoon offensively, yet to score, and down by a couple runs. There goes the runner Kawasaki, and there's ball 4. So back-to-back walks to start the inning off. And if you go back to last inning, it's 3 walks out of the last 4 batters that Ramirez has faced. So Perez goes out there, has a word for him, taps him on his shoulder. Taylor Davis is the batter, first time up. Right-handed hitter.
Taylor Davis has a little bit of a Justin Turner in him.
Yeah, there's a resemblance there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very popular player in Southern California.
Davis is a catcher by trade. He's batting in the DH role right now, and he takes that pitch for a called strike. Right-hander against right-hander. Ramirez set. Look at second. Here's the next pitch. And that is a strike on the outside corner. So he's zoomed in front, 0-2.
Be around the zone enough, and any ground ball turns into your best friend.
Difference in this ball game, a 2-run homer by Addison Russell. That was back in the bottom of the 4th. Here's a ground ball hit to third, and it gives Kubica trouble. It bounces away from him, and then no chance to get an out anywhere. That was a double play ball. It was hit right at Kubica, and he might have taken a little peek at the runner breaking for second, and that cost him dearly.
Yeah, double play written all over it. Error on Kubica.
So now, instead of 2 outs and 1 on, 3 are on, and there are no outs.
The Angels will bring the infield in.
Andrioli is the batter, and here's the pitch on him, and he swings and lifts that one in the air into right center field. Should be caught, but it's going to be deep enough to get the runners moving. Well, tag a couple. They've scored a run on the sac fly off the bat of Andreoli, and now it's a 3-0 Cubs lead.
Oh, there's the Joe Madden simplify your game in situations like that. Look for contact, look for something up on the zone. They are giving it to you. All the opportunities have opened up with a couple of walks in the air, and the Cubs do capitalize quickly.
So all of their RBIs so far today have come out of the 6th spot in the batting order. Andreoli with the sac fly. First out in the inning, runners at the corners. And now Ramirez ready to work, and the first pitch, that is a check swing, and that one is in there for a strike. This is Matt Clark batting. I don't know if they even announced him, but he is the hitter. That's from the left side, and here's the pitch. That one is a pitch that is in there for a strike. Clark, who's batting, took over at first base. First time up for him today. Batting out of Listella's number 7 spot.
Former Brewer and former Brewers manager Ron Reddick knows him very well. One of the Angels coaching staff.
Here's the next pitch on Clark, and he chops this one to second. Should be 2. Flip to second 1. Relay to first. It is a double play. So minimizing the damages. Ramirez, if he had a little bit more luck, he might have had a scoreless inning. They do get 1 here in the bottom of the 6th, and as we head to the 7th, it's 3-0 Cubs on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Fans, don't forget, if you have a group of 20 or more interested in experiencing Angels baseball, receive group tickets. Pricing for as low as $6 per seat. Visit angels.com/groups. Left-hander Edgar Olmos is the new pitcher for the Cubs, as Joe Madden will use his 6th pitcher of the day. So he replaces Acevedo, who had a 1-2-3 scoreless inning against the Angels. We start the 7th inning off. Angels looking to get some things going offensively. Angels have out hit the Cubs today 5-4, but the Cubs have the 3-0 lead. almost facing Simmons. And here's the pitch. A line shot. It pops off the glove of the shortstop. Kawasaki recovers, throws, and the throw takes the first baseman Clark's foot off the bag. So safe at first is Simmons, and we'll see how they score that. That was a liner, and Kawasaki jumped up, had it hit off his glove. It dropped right beside him, and then he picked it up, and the throw just a little bit late to first base.
Was it a routine play? Nope. He made it close. And that should be a base hit.
So it looks like they're pondering that one. They have yet to make a scoring decision on it, and now they will score in an error on Kawasaki.
Oh.
There's a toss over to first, and Simmons gets back to the bag.
Saw a two-hopper to the third baseman yesterday. The play that should have been made. Easy play.
Yeah, I agree.
Base hit.
Different ballpark, different official score. Baldukine is the batter, and there's another toss over to first base, and Simmons is back to the bag safely. And again, a toss over to first base, and Simmons gets back. He had 5 stolen bases last year with the Atlanta Braves.
Looking forward to seeing him on the field soon. Terry, we were talking yesterday about the unfairness sometimes with Gold Glove awards and how they're come to life, and Calhoun getting one, Trout not getting one.
Here's the pitch, bounced on the left side. That's out of the reach of the shortstop Kawasaki, and that's going to be a base hit for Baldukine. So the Angels have a little something brewing. First 2 batters on to start off the 7th. Runners at first and second. Jet Bandy is going to pinch hit for Carlos Perez. Probably take over behind the plate for him as well. Perez went 0 for 2.
Which, this Gold Glove talk takes me to who is considered the best defensive shortstop in the game. And the best defensive player in the game, who did not win a Gold Glove last year, Andrelton Simmons.
That's right. Here's the pitch, and that one is low.
And in case you're wondering who won it in the National League, well, one Brandon Crawford for the Giants.
Simmons, despite all the accomplishments with the glove, and he has won a couple of Gold Gloves, 2 in his career, yet to be an all-star. So if you can get that offensive part of his game going a little bit better, you got to think he's a guy that could be an all-star numerous times, because from a fielding standpoint, he's Gold Glove caliber. There's a pitch that's a little bit low. So Bandy has the count go 2-0. Angels trying to bunch some things together here in the 7th, down by 3. Here's the pitch. Chop to the shortstop. Kawasaki to second. Looks like 2. Throw to first in plenty of time. That's tailor-made. And the Angels have hit into their 3rd double play today.
Nice and easy. Nice rhythm coming together. Baseball's Kawasaki. Nice underhand quick flip to a second baseman. Now Contreras made it look easy. He was on the base on time and had plenty of time to get set and throw. And keep in mind, with the new rules and sliding to second baseman, feel a little bit more secure that nobody's going to go out of their way to try to tackle them around the bag.
So here's Kyle Kubica with a chance to drive in a run. 2 outs. Takes a big cut at that first pitch for strike 1. A lefty-lefty matchup. Kubica's batting for the first time today, hitting out a Gentry spot. Gentry went 2 for 2. Kubica's had 2 at-bats so far this spring, looking for his first hit as he fouls that one off. No, talking about the guys who have yet to be an all-star. Another one might be somewhat surprising was the National League Cy Young Award winner a year ago. He's here. We're not going to see him today.
That's right.
We might see him when the regular season gets underway in that opening series when the Angels take the Cubs. And that's Jake Arrieta, Cy Young Award winner, but he's never been an All-Star.
Threw a no-hitter and won 22 games last year for the Cubs.
Right, but
it's all about getting off to a good start, Terry.
Yeah.
Even then, there's no guarantees. There's always arguments with smells and so forth.
And here's Kubica with 2 strikes checking, and they say he went around on the appeal, struck him out, and that will end the inning. So the Angels end up leaving a runner at third, fail to score here in the 7th. At 7th inning stretch time in Mesa. Cubs up on the Angels 3-0 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels make a few changes. We'll pick you up on those in just a moment. Here's the deal for you. $19.95 gets you Proactive plus a rotating deep cleansing brush. It's valued at $45. You are guaranteed to get clear and stay clear, or you'll get your money back. Call 1-800-644-5944. That's 1-800-644-5944. Let's pause for stations to identify themselves here on the Angels Baseball Radio Network. So the Angels have a new pitcher, and it is Deolis Guerra on the mound. His first delivery, it's chopped on the left side, long throw, and it's just in time by Baldacchini to get Almora leading the inning off. So 1 pitch, 1 away. And the next batter will be Jacob Panaman. He's a left-handed batter. This will be his first time up. Deolis Guerra is on the Angels 40-man roster. He was a Rule 5 draftee back in December from the Pirates. He was in 10 games for Pittsburgh last year. Numbers were not all that impressive, though. 0-2 record, 6.48 ERA. But he got to the big leagues last season for the first time in his 10th pro season. And Jose's a guy with a good arm, and he also has a good changeup.
Good arm, good size. Is just all about putting it together. You see if you can become somebody to be considered the Angels at some point this season.
Here's the pitch, and that one a pitch that's tipped foul right by the plate. Jet Bandy is now catching. And Alex Yarbrough has come into the game, and he is playing at second base. Numbers on Ramon Ramirez, who Guerra is replacing. Ramirez went 2 innings, and he did not allow a hit. Although he gave up a run, it was unearned. He walked 3 and did not strike out anyone. Here's the pitch. That one is waved at and missed, and down on strikes goes Panaman.
There's your changeup.
Yeah.
That with a big frame straight over the top. You just keep repeating that motion. And then also, besides a fastball changeup, add something else consistently. It spins and cuts across or downward.
Guerra has a curveball that he'll use from time to time. Native of Venezuela. And the Angels will have to make a decision on him here in spring because, as I mentioned, he's a Rule 5 draftee.
There's a lot of options. Rule 5s always make it quite interesting for the teams, as other teams are closely watching. Starting with, of course, the original team.
A 1 pitch on Contreras, the catcher. That's in there. Breaking ball for a called strike. The attendance today, 15,446. And that is a new Cactus League record crowd.
Wow.
This ballpark opened up last spring. Biggest crowd they've ever had here, and the biggest crowd ever for any Cactus League game. Here's a pitch that's low.
Well, that breaks their record from last year, 15,342.
Right. So almost 100 more than that here today. Angels and Cubs, they will start it off against each other in the regular season as well. And it'll end up being a series where the Angels will play the Cubs twice at the Big A and then twice against them at Wrigley Field later on in the season. There's a 1-hopper hit right to second. Should be an easy play for Yarbrough. He will throw out the catcher Contreras, and it's a quick, clean inning for Guerra. Shuts him down 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the 7th. 8th inning is next. Angels looking for some runs. Trailing it right now 3-0 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Eighth inning we go. The Angels looking for some runs. Fans, don't forget, today's game being brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger's all about. So there's a new pitcher in the game for the Cubs as Almost leaves, and Brandon Gomes who was connected to Joe Madden in the past at Tampa Bay, now finds himself wearing a Cubs uniform. He delivers, and the first pitch, that one is low and inside on Alex Yarborough, who's batting for the first time today. He's hitting out of Sherman Johnson's number 9 spot. Gomes, a right-hander. Taking some time and now delivers. That pitch is high on Alex Yarborough. Gomes trying to win a spot on the Cubs opening day roster as a reliever. And again, a connection in the past with Joe Madden. Gomes was in 63 games last year for the Rays. 2-6 record, 4.27 ERA. But he signed a minor league deal with the Cubs. Fastball, slider, and a split finger pitch he likes to use against left-handed batters. Yarborough is a lefty hitter, so he might see a split or two. Counts 3-0 on him, and the next delivery, and that's right in there for a called strike. Alex Yarborough last year at AAA Salt Lake hit .236. Former 4th-round pick of the Angels, 2012. Next delivery, chops that one foul over on the right side.
That's a number, Terry, the Angels want to see improved in that hitters league, in that hitters ballpark.
Yeah, the year before he had the breakout year of sorts in the Texas League in 2014. He was actually the player of the year in that league, and then hit under 240 in his first go around at the AAA level. Counts full on him, and we'll see what happens on the payoff delivery. Here it comes. He reaches it one and grounds it right to second. Alcantara will throw him out, and there's one away. Easy play. Nick Buss will be the batter. This will be his first time up. He's hitting out of Escobar's leadoff spot. Buss is in left field for the Angels. Escobar went 1 for 3 today. Left-handed hitting Nick Buss. And the first one, that's right in there for a called strike. Buss went to USC, and he was in the D-backs system last year in AAA. Played briefly for the Dodgers back in 2013. Here's the pitch on Buss, and he chops that one foul. So the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Want to remind you that tomorrow, no radio broadcast of the Angels-Mariners game in Peoria. We will have the telecast for you tomorrow night at 8:30 back home. So again, no live radio tomorrow, and the telecast on Fox Sports West tomorrow night at 8:30. We'll be back on the radio side Sunday when the Angels host the Royals in Tempe.
Terry, dress up for TV tomorrow, man. Suit and tie. Let's go.
I'll try my best, Jose.
I know you had some here in the Valley.
2 strikes the count here on Buss. 3-0 Cubs in the 8th, and the pitch chopped on the right side. An easy play right at Clark, the first baseman, and he will beat Buss to the bag. So a couple of easy outs. Batter will be Ortega. And fans, we want to remind you, every fan matters when the Angels take on the Texas Rangers April the 7th through the 10th. Fans in attendance on Thursday, April the 7th, will receive a Trout Pujols double bobblehead courtesy of Pechanga Resort and Casino while supplies last. You can visit angels.com to purchase your tickets today.
That's a little high five in it too, isn't it?
Yeah, we've seen those bobbleheads. They're going to be a nice giveaway that night at the Big A.
They're pretty unique.
Yep.
The combination of 81 home runs last year. Trout Pujols.
Erwin Danley just shouting something over to Joe Madden, it seemed, over in the Cubs dugout on the third base side. There's a pitch outside on Rafael Ortega.
Joe's reaction is, all right, relaxed, smiled, played the game. Joe Madden, so influential in the career of so many Angels stars.
There's a wild pitch that skips by everybody. That got Kerwin Danley moving out of the batter's circle.
And Joe saying, I didn't do that. Hey, I didn't call for that, Kerwin.
Yep, you're right on that, Jose.
You connect the name Joe Madden, Mason, with the Angels. You know the hours under the sun that Joe Madden spent here at Gene Autry Park?
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, the Angels' old minor league camp.
And the calming influence with Mike Scioscia when he broke in as a big league manager.
There's one that's fouled back behind the plate.
So Mike Scioscia inherited Joe Madden.
He did.
You know?
And Mike took over as manager in the 2000 season.
That's how it all went down. And boy, you got what a reunion here today. We got Joe Madden, we got Mike Scioscia, we got Ron Renicky, Bud Black, Alfredo Griffin.
Here's the pitch on its way. That one is low. Well, what was it a number of years ago when Theo Epstein was running the Red Sox? He interviewed Joe Madden for the Boston job.
Yes, he did.
And it went to, what, Terry Francona. And then, you know, you fast forward a number of years, and Joe Madden ends up getting hired by Epstein to take over the Cubs, and he certainly has them in the right direction.
In some of the initial meetings that took place in an RV. In Joe's RV.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. After the Rays season was over, after, the 2014 season, they were trying to track down Joe, and he was at a RV park.
Okay, come join me.
Yep. You want to know where I am? I'm vacationing right now. Well, they found him at that RV park and offered him the job, and he's doing great things here in Chicago. Here's a fly ball lifted into right field, camping under and making the grab, battling the sun out there is Andrioli, and that'll end the inning. So Ortega and the Angels are retired 1-2-3 by Gomes. We are headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. Still 3-0 Cubs on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports Web. Bottom of the 8th here in Mesa. 3-0 Cubs. The Angels will bring in another pitcher. The sixth one of the day, and he is a young pitcher, non-roster invitee, Kyle Mcgowan, 6'3", 195-pounder, fifth-round pick of the Angels in 2013. He pitched at Double-A Arkansas last year, starting pitcher. And the right-hander gets ready to face Candelario, batting from the left side. Here comes the first pitch. And that one a little bit low for ball on Jeimer Candelario. We'll check out the out-of-town scoreboard in just a moment. It's brought to you by Ram 1500. Here's the next pitch. That one is high and away. I want to remind you the Ram 1500 is available with Eco Diesel V6 that gets an estimated 29 miles per gallon highway. Visit ramtrucks.com to learn more, and we'll run down what's happening in the Cactus League in just a moment. The pitch a little bit inside. Texas leads the Dodgers in the 8th inning 3-2. Giants up on the Reds 4-3 in the 8th. Milwaukee leading Seattle 5-2 in the 8th. Arizona has a 6-3 lead against an A's split squad in the 7th. Gene Segura has hit a home run for Arizona in that one, former Angel farmhand. White Sox up on Cleveland 3-2 in the 7th inning. Brett Laurie a home run for Chicago in that game. A's split squad has a 9-1 lead in the 7th inning against the Rockies. Later on tonight, Royals will be in Peoria to take on the Padres, and on the next delivery to Candelario, that one misses for ball 4, so he has a leadoff walk.
Terry, that White Sox team becomes a little bit more intriguing with the acquisition of Todd Frazier, Brett Laurie, and with their unique starting staff that had a high quality of quality starts last year. Among the best in baseball in quality starts.
There's Kawasaki batting, and he fouls off a bunt try for strike one. Mcgowan, who's on the hill for the Angels, fastball top out around 93, has a good slider. He's a pitcher with a good sinker. When he's going right, he gets a lot of ground ball outs. He could use one here, maybe turn 2, and he'll throw a changeup.
That slider you talk about, boy, you talk about arm speed, release, and the little dot. Watching him throw bullpens was very impressive. The fact that he can keep it down in the zone and use it as a wipeout pitch.
Here's the next delivery. This is chopped on the right side. Might be a double play. Flip to second one. Relay to first. Just a little bit late. Angels didn't turn that one as quickly as they would like, so beating the throw is Kawasaki. They do get Candelario out at second. And on the fielder's choice, one away.
Seemed like Yarbrough was too far away to use that type of flip. They might have thrown off Baldoquin just a little bit on his timing. But for Baldoquin, he can still learn how to be a little bit more aggressive with his coming across the bag. A lot of abilities, of course. Still a lot to learn to play at a higher level.
So another left-handed batter at the plate, Alcantara. Mcgowan delivers, and that one is low. Good stop on that pitch by Bandy.
Terry, we're talking about these names: Joe Madden, Mike Scioscia, Buddy Black, all here today. But to our left is the architecture of this whole thing in 2002.
That's right. Former Angels GM Bill Stoneman.
And also former Angel GM in recent history as an interim.
Oh, yeah. There's a ground ball through on the right side. That's going to be a base hit. Breaking for third is the lead runner. Throw there is going to be in time. Wow. That was Ortega who rifled that throw to Kubica. And that guns down Kawasaki. Boy, that was a heck of a throw there by Rafael Ortega in right.
We've heard about Ortega and the defensive prowess he brings, and we see it on display very quickly here. Watching him take infield, outfield, you could see he has an idea as to not wanting to hit the cutoff man often. Here's why.
So the second out in the inning on that play at third base. On the play, Alcantara ends up at second base. He'll get a single, takes second on the throw to third. And Davis is at the plate. Taylor Davis. Here's the pitch on him, and he takes it outside. Angels will have one more crack at the Cubs when we get to the 9th inning. 3-0 Chicago on top. Stepping out of the box is Davis. Angels in action tomorrow, taking on the Seattle Mariners. All of a sudden, that division opponent has a little bit different type of spin to it. Speaking of Seattle, with Jerry DiPoto as their GM. Scott Service going with them from the Angels to take over as the manager of the Mariners.
Quality additions to that ball club. Adam Lind being one of them at first base.
Seattle was extremely active in the offseason as far as deals and signings. DiPoto has really changed over their 40-man roster.
Many quality acquisitions and a healthier Robinson Cano.
There's a pitch that is taken for a ball. The count goes to 3-0. The bottom of the 8th inning. It's being brought to you today by our friends at Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana. Rotolo Chevrolet is pursuing excellence every day. Visit them at rotolo.com. That's rotolo.com.
One of those sadder acquisitions I really like, Terry, is Aoki and the dimensions he brings to that lineup.
Yep, the outfielder, Nori Aoki. There's a pitch that's in there for a strike. They retooled their bullpen, bringing in Benoit and Cishek. Cishek will be their closer the way it looks. Wade Miley, a big addition, and of course he'll be the pitcher the Angels face tomorrow. Here's the next delivery, and that one is going to be ball 4. The 3-1 was outside, so another walk issued by Mcgowan. Every batter in this inning has reached base safely. Although in the inning there are 2 outs. 2 on, 2 outs. 3-0 Cubs here in the 8th. Andreoli will be the next batter. Since coming into the ballgame, he's driven in a run with a sac fly. Right-handed hitter. Mcgowan set. Here's his pitch. That's in there for a called strike.
It should be a fun summer in the Windy City. John Lackey brings a lot to this ball club.
Yep, he's with the Cubs now. There's a swing and a miss. Well, they haven't won a World Series in 108 years. 1908. That was also the year, Jose, that Henry Ford introduced the Model T. That's how long it's been since the Cubs won the World Series. They've been in it more recently. Last time they appeared in the World Series was during World War II, 1945, 71 years ago. And they lost that World Series to the Tigers in 7 games.
Well, think about it. Whoever calls on the radio, Cubs are world champions, will be the first ever to say that.
First ever on the radio.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Radio wasn't even invented the last time they won the World Series. The count's 1 ball, 2 strikes as Mcgowan tries to get out of this 8th inning, and he just missed on that one. Boy, Bandy thought he might have had him on that outside corner, but it's ball 2, 2-2. And a quiet game offensively for both teams. Angels have out-hit the Cubs 6-5, but trail at 3-0 here in the bottom of the 8th. Cubs have had a 2-run homer and a sac fly for their 3 runs. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off right side, backing out of play. Want to remind you, MLB.TV Premium, everything you have and you come to expect and more. New low price for 2016. Watch every out-of-market game of all 30 big league clubs live in true HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mcgowan's next pitch, and that is a breaking ball. That was the slider right there. Froze him, struck him out looking, and the inning is over. Cubs fail to score in the 8th. Angels have 3 outs to try and mount a comeback, trailing 3-0 as we go to the 9th on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Ninth inning baseball. Angels need runs, down 3-0. The 8th pitcher of the day is warming up for Chicago. His name is Felix Pena. So we'll see what the Angels do or can do against the right-handed reliever who's trying to come in and save this ball game. Pena, tall, slender right-hander. Jose is headed downstairs. He'll try and visit with Angels manager Mike Scioscia after the ball game. Here's the first pitch. And that one is right in there for a called strike. Quentin Berry is at the plate. He's had 1 at bat so far today. He is 0 for 1. Pena's next delivery, that's a breaking ball in there for a strike. Pena has been a career minor leaguer in the Cubs organization going back to 2009. Starting pitcher at Double-A Tennessee last year, where he had a 7-8 record. And there's a pitch that's inside on Berry. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pena is from the Dominican Republic. He is 26 years old. Here's his delivery, and that's fouled off on the left side, out of play. So we'll do it again with the count holding 1-2. Choi is waiting on deck. Here's the next pitch. And did Berry go around on that one? Yes, he did. Tried to hold up. On the appeal, they ring him up, and that's the first out. Here's Choi stepping up. He lined out to center field his only time up. That at bat was back in the top of the 6th inning. One gone here in the 9th. 3-0 Cubs. Angels have had only one hit since the 5th inning and have not had very many scoring opportunities today. Here's the pitch. That one is a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes on Ji-Man Choi. Looks like Caleb Coward has gotten a bat. He's in the on-deck circle for the Angels, so he will be hitting out of Simmons' spot. He had been DHing today. Went 0 for 3 in his first game this spring with the Angels. Speaking of Andrelton Simmons. Here's the 2-0. That ball's well hit down the right field side. That one is out by the fence in right field. And jumping up and catching it is Andreoli. And he takes away extra bases from Ji-Man Choi. That was a nice running, jumping catch by the right fielder. When that ball left the bat, it looked like it might have a shot to get out. And I don't know that it was quite high enough to do that, but it certainly had a shot to be extra bases. And Andreoli makes it a fine play. Angels are down to their final out in this ball game as Cowart will pinch hit, and he goes after the first pitch and fouls that one off. Caleb Cowart so far this spring been up a couple of times, 0 for 2, and he swings and misses that one, so he's deep in the hole. No balls, 2 strikes. Angels are down to their final strike in this ball game. Pena is ready, and the next pitch, and he missed with that breaking pitch. He was high and in. 1-2 the count. Here's the next delivery. Grounded sharply on the right side, right at the first baseman, and Clark will solo to the bag, and the ball game is over. So Pena comes in and has a 1-2-3 9th inning, and the Angels are blanked today here in Mesa by the final score of 3-0. Angels did out-hit the Cubs today, but unable to make any of those hits count as far as getting something on the scoreboard. 3-0 the final. Cubs come away with the victory. We'll head downstairs shortly. Jose Mota will be joining Angels manager Mike Scioscia. I want to remind Angel fans you can host a business function or celebrate a special occasion in your own private suite at the Big A. Suite rentals offer all-inclusive food and beverage packages. Visit angels.com/suites. Also a reminder, no radio broadcast tomorrow of the Angels and the Mariners. AM 830 will have Ducks hockey against the Kings tomorrow. We'll have full radio coverage again for you on Sunday, but we'll have the telecast tomorrow evening at 8:30. Exclusive coverage on Fox Sports West of the Angels and the Mariners again tomorrow night at 8:30. The totals here today: Cubs had 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. They leave 5, and the Angels scoreless today: 6 hits, 1 error, and the Angels end up leaving 4 runners on base. Angels and Seattle tomorrow in Peoria. That'll be the first spring appearance for Andrew Heaney. And then on Sunday, when the Angels are back in Tempe, it'll be Nick Tropiano getting the start in that one. Today we saw Jared Weaver make his first appearance in the Cactus League. Had a couple of scoreless innings. Weaver's velocity topping out around 83 miles per hour. Kept the batters off base, though. Had 3 strikeouts in his 2 innings. Let's go down to Jose Mota and Angels manager Mike Scioscia.
Thank you, Terry. Mike, what you saw from Jared Weaver, you always said this guy can pitch with a great feel for it. How did you see that performance?
Well, definitely first time out. I think He was into his delivery. He felt good. Hit his spots, and got through 2 innings. And hopefully this is a good starting point for Weave. And as we get through the spring, we'll start to see some of the things he's going to need for the season. But for first outing, it was good.
As he goes through this evolution, you see a different way of him preparing when it comes down to location, not worrying about velocity, and how things must work for him?
Well, I think he's already showed the velocity isn't, it's not so important as maybe other pitchers because he changed speed so well. He's got deception in his delivery, got that outstanding changeup. But I think he will work into more velocity, which will make some things a little easier for him. But even if it doesn't come, he showed that he can go out there and get it done. He showed that last year.
On the offensive side, what you see him so far in a couple of games in the top of the lineup and Escobar Calhoun setting the table up for Trout.
Those 3 guys are doing it all the way down to Mike. They feel comfortable in the box. Mike's having great at-bats. Esky at the top of the lineup is hitting the ball hard, and Cole looks like he's in mid-season form. So these guys are where they need to be.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, Jose. Thank you.
Terry, it's all yours, man.
Thank you, Jose. Again, the final score today from Sloan Park in Mesa. The Cubs blanking the Angels 3-0. Now, for those of you watching on TV, Jose and Alex Curry will have a lot more post-game analysis, and we'll have more for you on the radio side here from Mesa as well. This is the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West.